Welcome to the party. I'm Sam Ekstrom of Locked On Sports Minnesota. It's draft day. What else do you need to know?
Hey, this is Arif Hasan with the Wide Left Substack. I'm here to tell you that size does matter, and I have the biggest, longest, girthiest big board that you can imagine over at Wide Left Football.
I'm Luke Braun of Locked On Vikings. I don't know, man. I was going to say something else, but nope.
Yeah, tough to follow that. Luke Inman at Luke_Spinman on today's episode. I got my Uncle Mel with me. What's that, Mel?
Locked On Sports Minnesota podcasts. It's endless Minnesota Vikings talk with the diverse voices of your local experts. It's time for the Minnesota Football Party. It's your guys hanging out talking next level Vikings football. So join in with Arif Hasan, Locked On Vikings Luke Braun, Superior Sports Talks Luke Inman, and Vikings insider Sam Ekstrom, plus the biggest names in Minnesota football for the Minnesota Football Party. And it starts now.
We are so glad you've joined us on draft day. It's the start of the extravaganza here at Locked On Sports Minnesota. This is the Minnesota Football Party, and this is the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. It's going to be your team all day today, practically here at Locked On Sports Minnesota. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you all who have already filed in and will comment in the chat. We appreciate it. This is the culmination of a lot of off-season work that we've done. Today is draft day. Love the draft day show. Love the draft day festivities. Of course, today we lock in our official final predictions, make final arguments for the Minnesota Vikings, not just day one, but day two, day three as well. And an emotional ode to Najee Thompson before the show is over. I promise that. Luke Braun has written a soliloquy, a eulogy. He's saluting Najee, who was waived with the failed physical. Today's show is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs. They help you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedonnfl. Terms and conditions apply. First, we start with day one. We start with tonight's events. And by the way, we here at the Minnesota Football Party will be live. Some iteration of the four of us will be live all the way through the Minnesota Vikings pick and beyond. You can find us at Locked On Sports Minnesota or Locked On Vikings YouTube channel. We are welcoming in a new audience. If you have not known of our existence, but you're just finding us on the Locked On Vikings channel, this is our debut there. Thank you for watching. We appreciate it. Thank you, Luke Braun, for letting us into your house. We appreciate that too.
Yes, thank you, Luke, for letting me into your house.
One of our mantras here at Locked On Podcast Network is unreasonable hospitality. You are being unreasonably hospitable to us. Luke Inman, what's the count? 7 hours, 56 minutes? Something
you got
like
it.
That?
Yeah, you're all over it.
Pick one.
You're all over it.
Yep. And then about 2.5 hours after that, the Vikings will pick at 24, or maybe not. Maybe there's a trade
maybe it's,
in the works. I want an impassioned plea from all of us as what's going to happen in round one, whether you pick or whether you trade back. I want to hear from everybody their final draft day prognostications. Luke Inman, take it away.
Well, everybody know I'm on that Kenneth Grant train, man. I love him. If he's there, you got to punch it. Just for some parity, though, today, I'm going to switch it up. A little bit spicier take here. I'm going to turn up the heat a little bit. Every year, somebody falls a little bit further than they're supposed to. And it always seems like this kind of early to mid-20s always seems to be a nice little sweet spot to grab a guy that everybody thought was going to go top 15. They end up falling right in your lap. I'm leading up to this draft this past week. I'm getting a feeling there's a guy that's maybe starting to slip just a little bit. He was a little up and down last year. I know he didn't run at his pro day. He tweaked his hammy. His counterpart, which I know we've talked a lot about on this show, Jahdae Barron, he seems to be flying up the boards this past month. I have a good feeling he's going to leapfrog him tonight. So I just think about all that. I think there's a fighter's chance. Will Johnson, cornerback from Michigan, might still be there at 24. Might still be there at 24. Yeah.
You dream big.
If he is.
It's important to have dreams, I think.
Hey, every year somebody falls
Dangerous,
a little bit further
some might
than they're
say.
supposed to. Yeah, every year. So I think Will Johnson ends up being cornerback 3. Jahdae Barron ends up leapfrogging him. And again, I just feel like if he's there, as much as you want and need to trade back, you got to get more picks. It's like those 4th and 5ths are great, but they don't mean nearly as much if you don't hit on your guy in round 1. A plug and play day 1 starter. If you plugged him in next to Byron Murphy, Isaiah Rodgers, all of a sudden I feel great. The Vikings finally have a young cornerback in that room they can develop for the next 4, 5, 6, 7 years, whatever it may be. And I love him as a prospect, and the tapes kind of speaks for itself as well. I just feel like nobody's been talking about, it's been all Jahdae Barron the last 3-4 weeks, and people are sleeping a little bit on Will Johnson. Even going to start to slip a little bit. Now they don't have the ammo to trade up like they did last year for Dallas Turner, but you got to get through a little bit of gauntlet. The Chargers, obviously, you got the Michigan connection there with Harbaugh. That would be tempting. The Packers at 23 right before you. They could easily snipe him if he were to fall. But I think Will Johnson slips a little bit. And if he fell in your lap, as much as we want to trade back, I'd be screaming to the podium.
What is Green Bay's greatest need? I mean, I feel like if Jair is really on the block, yeah. I fear, this is my greatest fear. I've said this before. If it's Kenneth, if it's Will Johnson, the fallers are going to get sniped by Green Bay. This is my fear. This is my greatest fear, perhaps. And I feel like Green Bay could be a landing spot for Will. I like if Will is falling, if we get to 20 and he's on the board, we're hammering this sound effect. Every pick.
Every pick.
We're just gonna
pick.
I feel like when you look at a lot of mocks for the Packers, it's corner, it's receiver, Egbuka, but because they had 5 picks in the top 90 last year, they have a lot of young guys that I feel like gives them a little bit more flexibility to go a different, like multiple directions. It feels like, offensive line I've seen, defensive line, feels like they're kind of all over the map.
Mm-hmm. Will Johnson fallen. I like it. That'd be exciting. Cornerback, by the way, is the favored position on FanDuel for the Vikings to take in the first round, but it's tight. I think it's corner, safety, D-line, O-line.
That's so fascinating because the top 3 picks in mock drafts for Vikings are like all safeties. like it's like Nick Emmanwori is like 60%. Malachi Sparks is like 30. And like it's just crazy.
24 doesn't feel like a rich spot for corner either. Like a lot of the corners are going 35, 40.
When you run any of these like mock draft simulators or whatever, and you're the one in the driver's seat picking for the Vikings, it's such an awkward spot. Like as we've discovered on the show twice now. Like it's just such an awkward spot.
Unless somebody falls further than they're supposed to.
I'll go. So my argument is, the phrase is hurt people, right? And we want to hurt people. And Savon Ravel is hurt. I think that's how the phrase works. So,
wow.
So I think we should grab a corner with a chip on his shoulder and in his meniscus. And
meniscus.
Minnesota menisci. Wow.
Minnesota menisci.
Meniscus connection.
And
was it not ACL? I thought it was it's both?
An ACL, but the joke I think landed a little bit better with meniscus.
Yeah, you're right.
But no. Besides, it was like a reference to Adam Schefter. But the Savon Ravel is just such a good cornerback. Like just in terms of like as a prospect, he's got a lot of length, he's got a lot of size. He's like 6'2-ish, 32+ inch arms. And he plays with a lot of aggression. He plays with a lot of physicality, right? And he plays with the physicality at the top of his rest that needs to be fixed. But I think that his willingness to compete as a tackler, his willingness to compete in the run game is huge. His coverage capability is out there. His footwork is really good. He just kind of needs some coaching on his hand technique, which is some of the easiest coaching that you can do. And it's kind of what NFL coaches are kind of best at, is doing upper body technical training. But his instincts are fantastic, and he's a capable and able special teamer. And so I think that all of that together, to me, without the injury stuff, I think he's like a mid first round corner. Like I think he's better than Quinyon Mitchell, right? But you have the injury stuff, so he could fall. He could fall out of the first round. If the injury stuff checks out, absolutely grab this guy because I think he's an outstanding corner.
You're comfortable if the injury stuff at 24?
Yes,
Oh,
at 24.
yeah, that's what I thought.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with
love
you,
him.
Arif. I love that dude. Yeah.
I really like him. I haven't thought about him at 24 per se, but he's definitely felt like a top 40 guy for me for a while. And yeah, I suppose if you try to trade down, right? You try to, maybe the Chiefs, maybe the Giants, whoever it may be, but 24, yeah, I haven't thought about that. But you're getting a great player that I really like, so I would not be mad about that whatsoever.
I feel like it's probably all third and fourth hand, but what I've heard about various medical situations is all over the board. Like with Revel, I've heard it was an ACL. Yep, should be good to go for camp. Nobody's really worried. For like Jihad Campbell, oh my God,
For Jihad Campbell, it seems almost disastrous.
How about Morrison?
Both knees and a shoulder for like Benjamin Morrison. He's got the hip of a 65-year-old like desk worker. Like and
that's before you get to his injury history.
It's all over the place. But those situations, those medical rechecks, I think, are playing an outsized role. A lot of the top guys have like medical things you got to figure out.
The Derek Harmon news that hit basically like yesterday that I never even heard of until like yesterday, the day before, when like that morning people were like, oh yeah, everyone is known about Derek Harmon's like injury issues that could drop him, and it's like, what do you? Everyone, this is the first time hearing.
Well, remember, who was the defensive tackle from Utah State who had the enlarged heart, first round guy,
Hurst.
Maurice Hurst,
right?
I thought was he Michigan?
Oh, well, maybe Maurice Hurst. That happened as well, but
he had like a flutter or something.
Yeah, Star Lotulelei did have an enlarged heart. Maurice Hurst did have a heart condition at Michigan, to the point where for Hurst it was the doctors at Michigan were like, "Hey, you like should not be playing football," and he was like, "Noted." And then he continued playing football, but that was like something that it was like a big red flag for teams. So he fell, was it third round to the Raiders, and people thought he would fall further, but the Raiders are just like enamored with that kind of stuff. So
yeah,
Luke just effortlessly pulled a draft reference from 12 years ago.
Hey, Star was phenomenal,
dude. He was supposed to. I remember he was supposed to be like a top 7 guy, and everybody was going, "Why is he falling? Why is he falling?" And then like young Schefter, right? Young Schefter was like,
the same
large heart, dude.
That was Sheldon Richardson's draft.
Was that the same draft as Tyrann Mathieu? I'm trying to remember.
Wow. It was 2013. I don't know.
Badger?
Thought
he was earlier than that.
No, Honey Badger was a couple years earlier.
Yeah, because I remember people were like, "Hey, Star's playing so well. Like, if there ever was a defensive Heisman," and I was like, "That he's playing really well, but like you don't stop that."
Right.
To Mike's question, if Shadur is available at 24, that's great. That's a great possibility. If there's one team that likes
we are calling New York.
Yeah,
it is fantastic. By the way, I didn't think that NFL.com did this kind of thing, but they let Tom Pelissero just source the crap out of the league anonymously and post all the stuff that people are.
Oh, it's a great
saying about Shadur.
It's a phenomenal.
Kind of
probably state approved media, but still.
Yeah, like they're like, yeah, go ahead, smear Shadur if you want. Like it was kind of incredible content. Check it out. Luke, are you on the Ravel train, or would you like to zig? This is Braun, by the way. Braun, would you like to go a different direction?
I'm big on the Savon Ravel train. If you trade down, he might still be there. So if you want to get greedy about it, like that could be interesting too. But I'm super into taking him at 24. But my argument was more about the idea of trading down. Look, it's not going to be easy to trade down. You might not get very good value for trading down. Still kind of think you should. There's just enough guys that are about of the same like level where I go, okay, I guess I'd take him at 24, but if you got him later, I'd be happier. Where moving down to pick like 29 or something like that, or moving down to pick, say, 33, 34, letting the Giants and Browns kind of climb over each other for Jackson Dart or a quarterback or whatever. If there is a Shadur fall, trying to take advantage of whoever the faller is going to be worth it, even if you don't get good value. So just do it. And if you are the kind of person that will get cranky if you stay up all night and the Vikings don't make a pick, maybe turn in early.
Well, also, but like follow a different team, because like this has been happening to you for years.
This is what we do.
True. Follow a different team. Pretty good advice for a lot of the people who used to spend a lot of time in my Twitter mentions.
So I spent a lot of time yesterday just mapping out like the teams that pick 25 through 45. What assets do they have? What could we attain if we trade back? I'm circling Buffalo. I don't know how desperate Buffalo is going to be for anybody at 24 because it's not going to be a quarterback.
Could be an edge rusher.
But it could be an edge. Buffalo
falling Shamar Stewart
has myriad draft picks. Buffalo has 10 draft picks in the first 200. They've got 8 in the first 5 rounds. They have an extra second, which might be actually a little steep for them to get. If they traded the Vikings their first and a second, that's probably too steep. But you could trade back.
And the Vikings could trade back the third and get all of that figured out and then trade down in the second again, and you'll be in a good spot.
You're saying Buffalo probably wouldn't trade up 6 spots and give their second round pick.
I'm saying you probably couldn't stay.
You're not getting a ton.
Stay in the first and get their second based on the trade charts.
Yeah.
But you could move back 6 spots, get 3 day 3 higher day 3 picks, a fourth, 2 fourths. 2 fourths and a fifth, 2 fifths and a fourth, something like that. You could stock up day 3, move back 6 spots. I'm circling Buffalo. They just have a lot. They have a lot of capital.
I like that. The other one is the team picking right behind them, and I'll have to look up their ammo again, but I just think it makes sense for the Chiefs to want to try to leapfrog the Texans and Rams, who both probably need offensive line help in a big way, and try to go get their favorite offensive lineman, whoever that might be, a Donovan Jackson, Ohio State. It could be anybody, but knowing that the Texans and Rams, I feel like, are probably going to be in that market. Chiefs know that as well. You can kind of sometimes sense on draft night when a run on a certain position is starting to happen and unfold. I think the Chiefs could be a good option as well. Again, I would have to look up their ammo. Vikings did make a trade with the Chiefs last year, I believe. Was that last year? It was either last year or 2 years ago. It was either last year or 2 years ago.
A random one, one of the.
Yeah, I love the idea of trading, especially with a team like the Chiefs.
They have an extra third, by the way, no fifths or sixth.
Okay. In order for the Chiefs to grab a player at a position the Vikings need, because the discourse cycle, it would be phenomenal. One of the best teams in the league. They've won, 3 of the last 5 Super Bowls, or whatever it is. And
they think Gray Zabel's great, and
you idiots, come on, Vikings! They got Nickham and Worry. He's going to be a
future Hall of Famer.
Actually, I would really like him there.
Right?
That would work really well for me.
This is great for a discourse. I love it.
That would work super well for both sides to me. Do it, Brett. Quissy, get on the phone. Somebody asked why not trade up. I just don't foresee anybody being within trade up distance. But yeah, if there's a Will Johnson fall, something crazy is happening, and someone's falling who's not supposed to fall, and you also and you don't also have a ton of fear of the medical situation, right? Then yeah, sure. I just don't think the board's going to be like that.
With my 30th pick, by the way, after I trade back 6 spots, I'm not going to make a sexy pick. I'm going to make a pick that aligns with what the GM and the head coach have emphasized, which is trenches. They have invested heavily financially in the trenches. And at some point, you need to start creating youth at those positions. And that's why I'm targeting guard. And it's not even going to be Gray Zabel to enrage Arif. So that would be fun.
Thank you.
I'm going to talk. I've never even brought this guy up on a show. But Donovan Jackson is a very legitimate guard candidate. I know because he played tackle his final year a little bit. Way more experience at guard. And I think that he could be a possibility at 30. I think that Kwesi kind of loves the big school resume, especially with these early picks that would separate Jackson from Zabel. If you look at who he's gone with LSU's, Alabama's, USC's, Georgia. Likes the Blue Bloods. Donovan Jackson is going to be my pick 1 at number 30 after a trade with Buffalo.
I like him.
I
like him a lot.
If you get him at 30, that's backflips, I think. That'd be crazy to see him available there. I think that a team like someone like Seattle might be really interested in a guy like that needing O-line. But if he's there at 24 and then you trade back and then you still get him, whoo-hoo, we'd be cooking with gas.
Yeah, he's
a little bit Darrisaw-like, right? Because they traded back in the Darrisaw draft and still got Darrisaw.
That was fantastic, and people got real mad about that.
Well, everybody was freaking out. Why didn't you take Elijah Vera Tucker instead?
So
The
many
Jets
people
took
wanted
him. And,
Who would have Elijah Vera Tucker super high and Christian Darrisaw super low in that draft? Oh, what kind of podcaster would do that?
We'll look it up. We'll check it out.
We
make our arguments. We make our arguments for our pick at 97, and we hear Ron Johnson's predictions as well coming up on the Minnesota Football Party. We're brought to you today by Monarch Money. Are you wondering how your money's being spent? We've all got subscriptions, expenses. We dine out. We online shop. Sometimes it can be overwhelming to budget. Monarch Money makes that easy. It's your personal CFO in the palm of your hand, a complete financial command center. I use it regularly. All of my accounts, all my transactions, all in one place. I can categorize them and see where the money's being spent and know how I can manage a little better and start building wealth. They give you great insights. They tell you, and you can categorize it in like literally any way you want, and then drop the transactions into those buckets. It's all in one convenience. Track your spending, create long-term goals. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNFL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. Monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNFL for half off your first year. Monarch Money. All right, that was an impassioned first segment. And by the way, if you joined us late, live tonight about 7 o'clock, Luke Braun will be kicking it off, and then we'll be trickling in as the night goes on up until the Vikings pick at 24. Find it here, Locked On Vikings or Locked On Sports Minnesota. Good passion, good energy in the first segment. Let's find that same energy for the number 97 pick on Friday. Who you circling, Arif Hasan this time?
Yeah, I think Billy Bowman. Obviously, the Vikings would have to make sure that they don't draft a safety earlier. But in that context, I mean, yeah, we're not focusing on the trenches. You know, in my situation, my dream scenario, they've already drafted a corner, but I want more people in the secondary. We've lost ball hawks and playmakers, right? You lose Cameron Bynum. You've got Harrison Smith, with 1 foot at the door. Not mentally, he's going to be fully prepared for the season, but you got to prepare for his departure. You're just not going to have as many ball hawks and playmakers. He might be the best outside of Travis Hunter, the best in the class among the defensive secondary at grabbing the ball when it's in the air. He's got extraordinary ball skills. He has even great return potential. I've seen people talk about him as a potential returner, which I know, we've talked a little bit on the show about how the Vikings just don't have that. Sure, fine, whatever. Bowman is super willing to do all of the dirty stuff. It's the same thing with Savon Ravel, right? Super willing to do all the dirty stuff. He throws his body into it. That has caused problems because he's not the biggest person in the world. He's 5'10", 192 pounds. He has a slight injury history, but again, hurt people. We want to hurt people. I think that having someone with his instincts to grab the ball in the air for such a turnover dependent team like the Vikings, who have lost some turnover production in free agency, they put themselves in a really good spot. And I think that a lot of people see somebody like a Bowman, who is this really rangy free safety type, right? Who's a really good athlete, really rangy free safety type. And they think he can't play in the box. And I understand why you would think that. And it's totally understandable. But the Vikings don't care about undersized people. It's about whether or not you've got the physicality to play in the box, the instincts to play in the box, the eyes to play in the box, and the technique to play in the box. And he doesn't have that last thing, but that can be taught. And so I think everything else, he's got the attitude to play in a Viking style defense. He's got the versatility, I think, and he adds something that the Vikings lost that they didn't, I think, regain in free agency. So I think, this outstanding playmaker, really great at grabbing interceptions, really great at tracking the ball. I want him on the team, Billy Bowman.
I like it. I'm going to go next, and then let's do 1 minute each on our 97 picks, and then we'll hear what Ron thinks. I'm going to go with a prospect of the day, probably back in February from Luke Inman, Noel Williams, cornerback from Cal. You got to replace Cam Bynum with another Golden Bear. There's one element of it. This is the interception leader in college football last year. 5 years of tape, but only 22. He's not like a 24-year-old 5-year guy. UNLV and Cal. Pure outside man corner Flores guy, can tackle, 6 feet, 200 pounds about. I think you come away with a corner in those first 3 rounds, you're pretty happy, and he's a willing and able special teamer with kick and punt return experience, which you're looking for. Noah Williams, my guy at 97. Braun, who you got?
Yeah, assuming that they don't take a guard at 24, there's one I actually really like at 97, Wyatt Millam out of West Virginia. He's a tackle that should move inside. He doesn't quite have the range to play tackle out on the edge. He'd get beat by speed way too much. But at guard, he's one of those guys that it like fixes every problem. Like, well, he can't quite get enough depth. Okay, put him at guard. And there's I think there, if I recall, he's got like shorter arms. Okay, we'll put him at guard. Like it changes, or it sort of papers over every problem that he had as a tackle that's going to sink him out of, first and second round and stuff. And he's a strong player with a really good anchor, not the kind of guy you bull rush all day long, which is beautiful. West Virginia tackle, move him inside, be happy.
4.69 short shuttle, by the way, which is the predominant workout for the guard position. Really good score there.
Really good.
Hasn't allowed a sack since 2021.
All right.
Not bad. Inman.
Yeah, those aren't boos. Those are Cougs, baby. Luke turned me on to him. Andrew Makuba, safety.
Let's
Texas.
go.
I took him in the PFF mock we did Monday. He's small, he's undersized, but I swear sometimes you flip on the tape, it's like he's 6'2", 220. Mighty Mouse, I was calling him by the end. Flies all over the field, packs a good punch. Again, talked about him a lot on Monday. I think he was really kind of the glue of that Longhorn secondary, and really was the guy that kind of allowed Jahdae Barron to find his home and natural spot at that. Ended up being cornerback one, and obviously he thrived as well. But, I know it's going to be the Theo Jackson show in 2025, which is fine. He's earned that. I'm excited to see what he can do on the field. But let Makuba play special teams for now. Next year, I think he'll be on the field flying around, especially if this really is Harrison Smith's final year in purple, which it probably will be.
Love it.
Surely this time Harrison Smith decides he's done.
This is it. Double down. Let it ride.
Ron, I've got the memory of a goldfish. What was your first round guy?
My first round guy. What was my first round guy? Oh, my thing was trade down.
Goldfish.
Do you want to give me should I just give you like a name, a guy that they should?
I mean,
take?
you don't have to. I was just going to write it down for tracking purposes for later tonight. But
all right, yeah. My thing was I wanted him to trade down. Not I'll dream big and say Kenneth Grant, even though I don't think that's possible.
All good. Let's bring in Ron Johnson, host of the Ron Johnson Show. He's got draft takes. We know he does. He'll be, I think, at US Bank Stadium tonight doing the show. Ron Johnson, welcome in. We have locked in our first round predictions and our third round predictions. Let's start with the first round. Ron, are you gonna lock in stone your prediction for 24 or trade back?
I feel like trade back. I feel like trade back, but possibly not out of the first, but I'm guessing out of the first round. I just feel like the guys that they could use, the people they lost, you look at losing Ed Ingram, Nashawn Wright, Trevor Reed. Like, did you lose a ton? You've added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys this offseason. You also re-signed Theo Jackson. I heard you guys talk about that. Aaron Jones, Ryan Wright, Byron Murphy, Harrison Smith is back. So if at 24 there's a guy that wasn't supposed to be there, I can see him picking, but I feel like trade back is going to happen. I don't know.
Trade back potentially into day 2. That would leave a lot of angry people at US Bank Stadium, Ron. Are you going to need security to get out of there? They might take it out on you.
I'm not going to need security. And I think that's why Kwesi and them are going to be at TCO. So they're not worried.
They're in the bunker.
My guess is Paul Allen's going to be on the stage, him and Pete Burcich. So they might throw stuff at the stage. And the fact that, and maybe Miller Lite will say, hey, I'm sorry that they traded back, but free beers for everybody. Drink up.
This is the problem with the trade back too. If you trade back from 24, you still have to hang around because they could always move back.
Right, because they always trade back in.
They could
get
come
back into 32.
In, so then
Correct.
you're obligated to.
Yeah, I was just thinking
of Harrison Smith.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good.
He also, remember when they didn't expect Sharif Floyd to fall? They're like, I guess we got to pick him. And then they picked who they wanted to pick. 2 picks later was Xavier Rhodes. And then they didn't expect Cordell Patterson to fall, so they traded their whole draft to get up there. And like mid press conference, Spielman's like, "Oh, and he leaves mid press conference.
And everybody was like, "Is it Manti Te'o? Is it Cordero Patterson?
Yeah, it was
got to be one or the
there
other."
were so many
Who's
national
it gonna
reporters
be?
at the Vikings facility because they were like, they're going to draft Manti Te'o, the person everyone's talking about for reasons we won't talk about.
I say we already knew at that point that he had a make believe girlfriend, right? So
yeah, we did.
I think we did. Yeah,
I don't think we could deal with that here.
So
enough
Ron,
fantasy going on.
You're trading back, Ron. But if
they did pick though, I'm going to go with. I don't know if anybody said these names, but either Donovan Jackson out of Ohio State, guard, hit 20 miles an hour during one of his screens. When you watch him in the open field, and that's in game. That's not like fake on the treadmill. So 6'4", 315 pounds, can get up to 20 miles an hour if you put him out there on the screen with Aaron Jones or Jordan Mason. And then I don't know if anybody said this one either, but Kenneth Grant, 6'4", 331 pound defensive tackle out of Michigan.
I don't buy 331. I'm like sure that he lost a bunch of weight for the combine and that Michigan was lying. That dude was playing 350.
That dude's a monster. Yeah, that dude's a monster.
That dude, like 1,000,000% is like the number is like horrible, but
it only matters when you get weighed on the scale.
Right.
Ask Kelly Campbell. When we were backstage, waiting to go up on the stage, Kelly Campbell took a gallon of water and drank it before he weighed in, hoping to gain like 1 or 2 pounds.
Fantastic.
Well, I remember
it's too bad Uncrustables weren't around back then because
Pat Williams retired.
Uncrustables
We
changed
asked
the game.
him like, "Hey Pat, you were listed at 350 pounds. How much did you weigh?" And all he did was like laugh. He was like 350. Who told him that?
He should have got a Wizinator and put some weights in that and just put that in his pants. They're not going to question that
reference. I love it.
They're going to be like, "Oh, that's just Chris Jones. He's fine. Let him on the stage."
I think Kenneth Grant should have gained weight for the combine. He should have been like, "Yeah, I did move like that at 360."
Just commit to the bit.
Yeah.
That's just who I am.
But even if he plays at 340, 345, 6'4", he's a definite two-gapper. He's a guy that can take on the guard and tackle, guard and center. He's a space eater, as they call it. And so if you're looking at this defensive line right now, a guy to learn under the tutelage of Jonathan Allen and Javon Hargrave, and who knows how these guys are going to come off the injury with Hargrave. That could be a pretty good pick. And I heard you guys talk about Sharif Floyd. So this could be a pretty good pick in round one to get Kenneth Grant out of Michigan to keep those middle three guard, center guard off of your middle linebackers and Ivan Pace and Blake Cashman.
Here's last one for me, and then we'll keep it go around the horn. I see so much resistance to playing time at defensive tackle. I know it's a rotation, but you've got 3 veterans that are signed, big money, the next 2 years at least. You've got kind of a stable of young defensive tackles that you brought into your system last year. When I look at guard, and this is why I like Donovan Jackson too, Ron, the resistance is not that great. Like you could upgrade there pretty realistically week 1. If they're good enough, you could play them week 1 without putting anybody out that's got a huge salary, and you could have like a legitimate top 5 offensive line. So I like that. That's why I'm circling guard as a way to upgrade this year and not shelve them for a couple of years while you have this Super Bowl window. No, like why not go ahead and upgrade this year? So I like Donovan Jackson a lot. Luke Braun, you can take it away with Ron.
I didn't think of one.
I love live shows so much, man.
Inman, what do you got? Tap dance for
Ron. Meatloaf. Mom, what is a meatloaf?
What is she, Ron? What is she doing back there? What is she doing, Ron? Listen, Ron. I know you know who the Vikings are picking. Can you just whisper it?
You took my question.
Can you whisper it to me? Just whisper it. Guys, take off your headphones.
I printed out my parking pass to get into the stadium. I got my credential. I got my text messages on, phones on loud, so I don't miss any messages today, but I can't do it. I did talk to Chisholm Oprah.
If we peer pressure Ron enough,
one thing that I know from this scouting department, looking at the college scouting department group, so Chisholm, not the NFL ones for free agents, but Chisholm Oprah and his team that look at the college guys. The biggest thing, because I kind of said, hey, what should I focus on? The biggest thing is keep an eye on names that you didn't expect to be there at 24. And so that's the one thing. There's some guys that you didn't expect to be there at 24. And Luke Inman's favorite, go get a guy. Go get your guy. If he's there and you didn't expect him to be there, don't play the trade back game, because now everybody's playing the trade back game. And I don't know if I don't think he'll be there, but Will Johnson right now, they have him as 17th But like listening to our partner on NBC Radio this morning, in Peacock with Dan Patrick and then also Florio. The biggest thing is going to be at like 5 and 6. If something happens with Jacksonville where they go get Genty or somebody jumps up to get Genty and then somebody takes Shador, like if the Giants take Shador at 3, it's going to throw everybody else off. And I think that's when the dominoes start to happen where you're like, oh crap, let me go get this guy. Well, we need to get this guy because this team wanted him, so we can't play this game. And if some of these guys because Will Johnson, another guy that had an injury, if somebody does that, like, be aware at 24, and even the Vikings have to go to 23 or 22. Just be aware that there are some small things they can do, favors they can call in and say, hey man, we helped you out. Like, let me get to 23 or let me get to 22.
Yeah,
Ron.
love that.
Yeah, I got one. What could happen tonight that would truly shock you? Whether you would like it, whether you wouldn't like
Tua
it.
Tagovailoa gets traded. No.
I don't know how shocking that would be. Of the list of the most shocking things that could happen, that's on there, but it's not number one.
Tyreek Hill announces his
Medium.
14th baby is going to be born.
No,
Again. Is that
Yeah, there has to be a surprise.
How shocking?
Ron.
Yeah, like what could the
shocking.
Vikings do tonight that would knock you out of your shoes?
Trade up really high, like get into the top 15 or something, or top 17 even. Like, I would be like, whoa, what? Like, you know what I mean? Because like because if you go back and watch the video when they went and got Dallas Turner, I don't know if you guys saw that circulating this morning. They had, I think they gave up their 2026 and 2027 to move up. So I mean, how far are teams willing to take from you? Like, hey man, I'll give you my 2029. Like, that's my daughter's high school grad year. Like, we're talking about 5 years from now.
How old you feel right now is not relevant, Ron.
Yeah.
Do you want to
you
give
know,
me
you
your
know,
2029
You don't
pick?
got to worry about any of that. All they have to do is package in JJ McCarthy as part of the trade-up package.
Wow.
And get up for Shador.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would shock me if they get into like the top 17, top 15. Like if they were to do something and find a way to finagle their way up there to get a guy. But then if they were to get like Will Johnson at corner, then we're all going to be like, oh, okay. But I just don't know if that is worth it because again, Jeff Okudah's had his issues. But I think he's a guy under Brian Flores. Like Brian Flores to cornerbacks and safeties reminds me of like Kevin O'Connell to quarterbacks. It's like he has a way to make them better without sacrificing too much. And so I don't know if he feels like he's set, but I mean, honestly, a generational talent like Will Johnson, if you have a chance to get a island cornerback, that would shock me though. But it would be one of those moves where the crowd goes nuts, streamers fall from the ceiling, the sky opens up, I mean, I know the stone was moved a couple days ago on Easter, and Jesus was not in the tomb. I mean, I would put this in 5 steps below that. You got Jesus coming out the tomb, and then a couple steps down, you got they just went and got Will Johnson in the NFL draft. Like, come on now.
What are the steps in between? I'd like to
now
know,
that
like,
just
steps in between. Well, you got Revelations. You got Moses split, you got the Red Sea, you got Jesus walking on water.
I thought it was like the
stuff.
invention of the iPhone, or
you got a bunch of
great
stuff
advancements.
iPhone is like
I gotta be honest, Moses parting the sea seems a little more unlikely than the iPhone being invented, if I'm putting them all on a different
No way. You could minus 10,000 humanity invents technology that destroys it.
the iPhone.
Yeah. See,
Yes.
It's so obvious. Yeah. So it's so obvious. Moses parting the Red Sea. I mean, Twitter.
I mean, Katy Perry went to the moon, so I don't know where we're gonna put that. Like,
yeah. Also, one of these inevitabilities of human nature.
Right.
She kissed the ground and she liked it, so it is what
it is. Honestly, not a bad Ron joke in Ron adjusted terms. Okay, Ron. So a couple years ago, I remember when the Vikings were back at their old facility, and we had to do like the draft room work inside their practice facility, which was kind of fun. They also had the graphics department working there, and the graphics department was building up all of these graphics for all of the players that the Vikings could potentially pick. There was one reporter who only saw one of those laptops and assumed that was the player they were going to pick, tweeted it out, ended up deleting it. That was not the player, but the graphics department did get a bit of a heads up over who they were picking. And I would never ask you to compromise your position as somebody who has access to that information. But if you know who the graphics department was told to make graphics for,
Oh, okay. I
certainly,
see what you're
yeah, I'm
doing.
all ears.
Oh, okay. So graphics team. My graphic was my parking pass. Like that's the only thing I've seen. come
Park
through.
Pass
The only
gets
thing
up
you've
a lot,
seen.
man.
And it's a nice graphic too. Like it has like the draft party logo. It's got the Vikings logo. It's got official like spot number for me to know what spot to park in. Like it's official.
Has
So
anyone
they-
ever stolen your spot?
If they do, I don't care. I'm not big enough to worry about it. Like I can't like Adrian Peterson. I know if he shows up tonight and somebody's in spot 28, like he's gonna be pissed. Jared Allen, I'm pretty sure he probably wants spot 69.
Nice.
But the Wilfs, I'm guessing they get spot number 1 right in front. I don't care. Like I'll be at spot 210 and I'm good. Like if somebody takes that, I'll just move her to 214.
Yeah, but
I'm
like
fine.
the
All right, parking 210.
The funniest though
Got
was
it.
like, so I had to email the Vikings because Fox like messed up. So they were only allotted 4 parking passes for a different lot, not the Vikings lot, but a different
of
lot.
course. Yeah.
They put 11 people on this email and literally said, we only got 4 passes, figure it out. Like what? So I was like, no, I'm not getting in this. Like,
Yeah, okay.
what is that? Hunger
handle all
Games? I'm
this.
not getting in this Hunger Games fight for
Yeah,
these parking
Survivor.
passes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, because I know, like, I saw somebody say, "Oh, the 3 of us are going to ride together, so we'll take one." I'm like, I just emailed the Vikings. I'm like, "Hey, man, like, I don't know if you guys did this on purpose." So then I went outside. I colored outside the lines. I'm like, put me on the list with Pete Burgess and Ben Lieber. Like, don't put me with those.
Yeah.
because they
There
are
you go.
screwing it up
Yeah.
over there. So I got then the lady hit me up. She's like, "Oh yeah, I'll put you with Ben and Pete." So they got me taken care of. But yeah, it was the graphics team was a part of that because I know I could tell like they had to put spot numbers and But no, I mean I will walk through the bowels of the stadium. I know there's graphics being built because they're gonna put it up on the screen once that person is picked at US Bank Stadium. I don't know. I can't.
How much of a heads up does the graphics team get? Do they get the same heads up you do, or do they find out later?
Let's not compromise Ron.
No. I'm not even asking who
privileged
anymore.
So that
information.
part, honestly, I don't know. Our heads up comes like if I think what are they 24? So if anything's gonna happen, we kind of get like a heads up 20, like say they're 24 and they're gonna pick because the draft is 10 minutes behind what we see on TV. So once they've done their wheeling and dealing, they're like, I mean, because one year I didn't know this, and I think I've told this story before, that I didn't realize how delayed the draft was. Because I did the whole like, man, I can't believe we drafted a quarterback, and it was Kellen Mond. And people were like, what? There's no way they're drafting a quarterback. And I was like, what? They just drafted a quarterback. I was like,
You tipped it.
Right.
yeah, I was like, what are y'all talking about? You did, they just did it. And then somebody from the studio thing was like, no, that's not live. That's live. That's not TV. So I was like, oh, okay, my bad. But then after that they were like, yeah, it's not a big deal. Because I was just like, oh, I can't believe the Vikings are drafting a quarterback. It threw me off because that was a Kellen Mond year, and I didn't understand that pick personally. But I was trying to be positive and be like, oh, he's going to be a gadget guy in the red zone. But no, he's not. He never was, and it didn't work out. But no, I would say like after they do it, then they tell us, hey, here's what happened, because they've already turned it in. They've already texted the teams. They can't take it back. They've already faxed it over.
Photoshop,
and that's the biggest thing about what year did the Vikings miss it? Was that 20? What was that?
2003.
2003.
Yeah.
Kevin Williams.
So I think the NFL put this into place so that doesn't happen anymore. Like, hey, we're going to give you guys 10 minutes ahead of time. Just get it into us, and then we can move on to the next pick. So yeah, we'll get a heads up once they do it. Like if they trade out, we'll start getting text messages saying, hey, by the way.
So that's it though. 10 minutes though. You get a 10-minute window.
It like 10 to 15 minutes. So no. So sorry. How long do they get between each pick this year? I
10
forgot
minutes.
the first round.
10
10. So no. So it's 5 picks. So was that 50 minutes? It's like 5 picks.
5 picks.
An hour.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like
you
an
can make all
hour.
kinds of great. You could make the graphics move in that. amount.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. Like it's like 10, like 5. I think it's 5 picks ahead. They're like they're
You
always
can make the
ahead.
lines move in Vegas.
So the reason they do
Okay.
10 minutes, honestly, now it's for somebody was joking last year. I think
TV.
they said the first round was done and the draft still had like an hour and a half left to go.
That rules.
Oh wow.
Like
Wow.
Oh,
on
that's
TV.
crazy.
Like the
So people
the
just
first,
wow.
Yeah, the GMs and the owners had already sent their picks into each other. They had already made their trades. They were done.
Talking about day 2 draft,
Correct.
and dealing pick 33 while pick 17 is still up.
But because of how the money goes and commercials, and they want to prolong it, they said it was like an hour and like 20 something minutes.
They're just
left.
like hanging out in the
war
room for an hour,
or it's packaged footage. You know, they got the footage.
Correct. They got the footage. They got because there's cameras in everybody's draft room too. Yep. So they're making sure to edit that so you don't see the like actual stuff. They have to approve it, and then
you don't see their big boards. You
correct. VN, for instance, VN has a shooter in there. They have a camera crew in there, and then when it's done, they start packaging that. Send it up to Kwesi. Kwesi has to watch it quick to make sure it's good, and then they approve it and they send it off to whoever, like whether it's Vikings Entertainment Network, whether it's Twitter, the Instagram Twitter group, and then also the NFL if they want some footage, which that's what we see the Kevin O'Connell like. Really, Dallas Turner? Okay, like that's where that came from. But yeah, it's they put it far enough where it's not like a mad dash. Like, oh, here's our pick. They're trying to cut that out. They want
that's good to know. That's interesting to know.
They want production value now, and they want what's his name, Goodell, to be able to know who he's going to hug and prepare for his handshake.
How to pronounce the names?
Correct.
Right.
Amon Rory. So you got to.
Oh, what are you trying to tell us? You
got to get the name.
Know that name.
Whoa!
You got it.
Name's right.
He leaked it.
It's over.
That was just a name. That was a name that stood out to me. That's like
sure.
You might mess it up. You might.
Why are you yelling, dude? Yeah, no, we get it. I get it. Hey, Ron, I know you got to roll. Travis Hunter, he your favorite prospect in this entire draft? If you got to pick your favorite guy?
No. So Travis Hunter is the most intriguing because after he gets picked, I know he was very particular. Like you have to say they've drafted wide receiver, defensive back, cornerback Travis Hunter. Like he doesn't want to be drafted as a corner. He wants to be drafted as wide receiver, cornerback Travis Hunter out of University of Colorado. Like he was very particular. Now we'll see if the NFL, appeases him, and we'll see if the NFL team says that like we're drafting receiver, cornerback Travis Hunter, or if it's like, man, we're drafting cornerback Travis Hunter. But no, honestly, man, I'm very like I'm really like torn with this Shedeur Sanders, Cam Ward love affair. Like I want to see what happens because it's like everybody says it's chalked in. Cam Ward's first, Shedeur Sanders. We don't know what's going to happen. Like I want to see. Does he go to 3 to the Giants? Because the Giants have been very silent. Like and almost I think they're on punishment for what they've done. So the owner said you guys can't come out of your room until the draft, but I just feel like we have heard nothing from there's no leaks. There's no think about Schefter's tweets right now. There's been no Schefter Giants anything. Like they've been very close to the vest with this one. So I'm just wondering if they're doing that so that anybody that wants Shedeur doesn't even try to think they want him. They're not taking them, so we can just wait. And then they're going to take them. And then now if you want them, you got to come see us and trade us to get them and give us more because we know who you want now. So that's because teams lie. They'll be like, oh, well, who do you want it to if you take 2? Oh, no, we're not getting your guy. We want so-and-so. That's what I think because that was the whole Mitchell Trubisky year with the 49ers. Remember that one? Mm-hmm. And look how that worked out. But if you think about that, that's part of it too. The Giants have been real tight-lipped. So I'm interested because I see Deion Sanders just put out like a 6-minute hype video today of Shedeur. So which is so sad because it's Shedeur and then his brother's in some of the videos, but it's like he's probably told the camera, don't focus on him.
Shiloh. Okay.
Yeah, don't focus on Shiloh. Focus on Shedeur. Like you're not my favorite son right now. I love you, but Shedeur is about to take us to the draft. Like you're just gonna be there. So that's what's weird. And then also I'm also interested to see day 3, if anybody pulls the trigger on Shiloh, just as a favor to Deion. Yeah. Or is it nah, man, we want him, or is it, hey, I don't want you, if he's a 7th round pick, don't pick my son because I want him to go to the team his brother's at. So if the Giants do draft him, then maybe the Giants say, hey,
Ronnie situation.
Correct. We'll bring Shiloh in as a free agent to be Tyler Nubin's backup. And then,
if you're at the stadium tonight, you get to see Ron Johnson in the flesh, live on the mic, reacting to all the picks. That'll be a lot of fun. We'll be live on here, so we got your bases covered. Ron, excellent stuff. Donovan Jackson, maybe at 24, or maybe a trade back. He's at 3. Ron Johnson, get his takes there.
And by the way, those 3 names, Donovan Jackson, Nick Emarori, and
Him
Kenneth
and Rory?
Grant. I'm in Rory.
Don't
We're
worry
my
about it.
three that we did on the show with Sam yesterday. So
Okay.
on the Care
Yeah.
11 special.
That's it. That's his 3-man
So,
team.
That's my 3-man
Beautiful.
team.
We'll talk to you soon, Ron. Great stuff.
All right. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. We'll get a word in and then return with our favorite day 3 sleepers, Minnesota football party.
Game time.
We're brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs. We'll get there. As a small business owner, your work does not end when the clock hits 5. Your business is always on your mind. When it's time to hire, you need a partner that works just as hard as you do. That's LinkedIn Jobs. They're clocking in when you're clocking out, and you can post your job for free there, share it with your network, get great reach to acquire qualified candidates all in one place. Their post your job feature helps you write job descriptions. That's one less thing you have to think about. Quickly get your job in front of the right people with deep candidate insights. Use the hashtag hiring frame in your profile picture to double your reach to qualified candidates. No wonder 72% of small businesses say LinkedIn helps them find high-quality hires. Small businesses, you might be wearing a lot of hats. LinkedIn can help. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedonnfl, linkedin.com/lockedonnfl to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. And we're brought to you by Game Time. You want to be live in the arena for the NBA playoffs, for the NHL playoffs. There's a home NHL playoff game tonight in St. Paul at Target Center. Tomorrow, Timberwolves, Lakers, LeBron, Luka, be there with Game Time. It's going to be electric. They've also got great last-minute deals as the prices go down closer to tip-off. You can save up to 60% at Game Time, even when the demand is sky high. All-in pricing, make sure you toggle that on so there's no surprise fees at checkout. What you see is what you pay. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Day 3 sleepers. Braun, this is your contest on your show.
This is my contest.
You've got a lot of people have submitted names. What's your submission?
I will be recusing myself from this because I have a contest. But if you want some names that I like in day 3, I could give you either the South Carolina defensive tackles. If you want like a true designated pass rusher type, TJ Sanders will go a little higher. Tonka Hemingway a little bit lower. It sounds like Dylan Fairchild will be a day 3 guy, probably because he doesn't pull, but he's really good at everything else. So you kind of have this like really like this like one really glaring weakness that drops him all the way to day 3. But if you can figure out either how to improve upon that weakness or how to paper over it, you can work there. And I still like JJ Pegues there as that kind of as sort of a dirty work role player guy, and also maybe a fullback. Yeah, but I need some day 3 stuff from you all. So I have, if you follow me on Blue Sky, I just retweeted it on there. The name a day 3 player, and if the Vikings actually draft him on day 3, I will donate to a charity of your choice. Just make sure there's no dupes. First come, first serve on that. So I already got one from Arif. I checked it out. It's good. Zeke Biggers, DT.
So if the Vikings like trade down like 8 times and they have like 15 picks in day 3.
Yeah, then I'm cooked.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. This has happened to me. This happened to me in 2020. Yeah, I've been doing this contest for a long time. And that's when I reduced the amount per charity. But I followed through. Receipts are they're not there anymore because my Twitter's gone. But I would love one from Luke or Sam.
Yeah,
I'll verify it for you.
We'll be in on that.
Jordan James available?
Jordan James is not available.
Not.
I'm sorry.
How about my day 3 guys? Is Savion Williams, TCU? Is he available? He was a prospect of the day guy maybe a month or so ago. I don't know what running back, receiver, both, weapon, whatever, but he is. He's a threat to go to the distance every play. I like him a lot. If they only end up with 4 picks, it feels like too much of a luxury pick. But 12 touchdowns last year. You could start him at kick return, punt return, figure out a game plan for him, mix him in. the offense in some way, shape, or form this year. It just feels like a Cordero Patterson type of athlete. So just got to figure out a way to use him. A lot of these guys, whether it's the offensive coaches or the game plan, whatever it is, don't end up panning out. But if you can figure out a way to use him the right way, I really like him a lot. He's fun.
How about slot god Coleman Owen out of Ohio?
He's available.
Coleman Owen, lock me in. Coleman Owen is going to be the next Brandon Powell. He's going to return punts for this team.
That's incredible. You pick someone that doesn't have a scouting report on Dan.
He's going to be the next Chad Beebe.
The next Chad Beebe.
He's
Hey, doesn't have to make the team. All right.
Yeah.
Doesn't
winner.
have to last.
Got a game winner one week. Got a game-winning touchdown one week.
Yeah, against Carolina.
I'll pick Zeke Biggers, which I've already kind of locked in anyway because I tweeted it to Luke. But Zeke Biggers, enormous nose tackle, extraordinary length, incredible, I think, movement ability. Like, I know his testing wasn't that good. I know the scouting report on him is that his movement isn't that great. But I think that when he slims down, and the thing is, he has consistently slimmed down every single year, and he's been able to maintain good conditioning. So it's not a hypothetical. When he slims down, he moves really well, and he still is like 320 pounds. So I like him a lot. I think that he's got a lot more burst than a lot of the scouting reports I read on him. And so I'm just going to attach myself to that guy.
Beautiful. Those are the day 3 sleepers. Vikings have a 5th and a 6th. Luke Braun will be anchoring the coverage all Saturday. Here again, Locked On Sports Minnesota and Locked On Vikings. The coverage is extensive, people. So make sure you check it out and give us a subscription if you like it. Before the show is done, Luke Braun, let's try to find the saddest music we have available. That's kind of nostalgic. Najee Thompson. Failed.
He's gone.
Physical. He had an emotional Twitter farewell. He is gone from the Vikings. Your greatest prediction ever, I would say.
I probably won't top it.
What would you like to say?
I've written a haiku.
Okay.
Yellow-sleeved gunner, failed physical, matters not. I was still correct.
That is the greatest piece of creative work. That includes all your podcasts, everything that you've written for me or for someone else. Your greatest piece of creative work you've ever produced.
It's the Bo Burnham parody that's still the featured video on the YouTube channel for Locked On Vikings. Go watch it.
Okay, fair enough.
This is a chat GPT prompt for me as the eulogies continue. Write me a limerick about Najee Thompson from the Vikings.
We had the same idea.
Najee Thompson, a Viking so sly, chased down runners who thought they could fly. With a burst and a dash, he'd arrive in a flash, leaving offenses asking, "Oh my!"
Is that a question? Is "Oh my" a question?
It does not even have a question mark, but this is AI, folks.
Look, we're asking AI to make art. Okay, lower your expectations.
Honestly, better than I would have expected. So you've cleared the bar. I didn't know we were all supposed to do. I didn't.
No, I just kind of did that on my own.
Oh, okay.
But
he was
I like Najee Thompson a lot, but the problem is, like, he's a success for Luke Braun, so I can't really feel that bad.
It's kind of a perfect out because I can never be wrong. I'd be like, well,
right,
yeah. Could have been, Marcus Sherrills, but it was just a knee.
Well, it's like me and Sharif Floyd. Like, well, it's not my fault. He played well. Yeah, I get it.
Sharif Floyd was good.
He was actually good. He was great.
Yeah, he was awesome. It's anybody who was like he didn't do anything forgot. That's fine.
Last question in closing. Is there like a pick of 24 that makes you angry? And there's some that are too obvious, like Shedeur. Yeah, that'd be weird. But are there
reach
are
on
there
a
picks?
third rounder guy? Gray Zabel will piss me off.
I like Omario Hampton, but don't go running back, right? Don't go running back. Maybe that's too easy for you, like Shedeur. Maybe that's just
I think if they wanted to go running back, if they liked these running backs in the first, they wouldn't have done free agency the way they did.
Agreed.
That's true. Yeah. Well, on
Colston
the
Loveland?
spectrum of that obviously would tick you off and is unlikely, like Shedeur, to this would clearly tick you off, but there is some likelihood, like a running back. if I wanted to go below kind of that level and not take the Gray Zabel route, which is also very funny. Yeah, I mean, aside from like a pretty big reach, I think I don't like Walter Nolan. Actually, how about that? Because I already talked about how much I don't really like him and Worry, but that wouldn't tick me off. I just would disagree with it. Walter Nolan, I think, would tick me off. I don't like him. Or like Mike Green for like obvious reasons, but like
Well, that's a
removing
different.
that,
Yeah.
Walter Nolan.
I think Maxwell Hairston would bother me in like a trade back situation. I don't know. He feels like the token fast guy that gets a lot of like his stock goes way up because of the combine, and he doesn't actually have enough skill.
Yeah, who did Washington take? What was that, 2 years ago? Small, like Bucks.
Emmanuel Forbes.
Yeah,
Emmanuel Forbes,
Dude,
not even on the team.
Ironically built like me, like exactly my like.
Height and
If I
weight,
got
yeah.
in shape, I would be the same size as Emmanuel Forbes.
Well, he was like, I remember when he was drafted, they comped him to Cam Dantzler, and everyone was like, "That's not good." What?
Right.
He signed Cam Dantzler.
Yeah, and then, yeah, it was like, "Hey,
You took him in the first?
there are
Yeah.
definitely football players that weigh over 180 pounds, and any of them are going to cause problems for both of these guys. What are you doing?"
Who would win in a fight, Forbes or Alexander Hollins?
Bones?
Ooh.
I would take a guy named Bones any day.
Yeah, give me
Yeah,
Bones.
Bones is insane. Yeah.
We are live tonight, 7:00. Be there. Thanks for watching. Locked on Vikings YouTube, Locked on Sports Minnesota. If you liked it, give us a subscription. We'd appreciate that. We're on the way to 10,000, by the way, at Locked on Sports Minnesota. Help us get there. We would greatly appreciate it. For Luke Braun, great work at Locked on Vikings. Arif Hasan, consensus big board, wide left Substack. Remember those two phrases. Luke Inman, you're a busy man. Twins postcast, NFL draft, Wolves postcast, staying up late, West Coast games. No rest for the weary. What a hard worker. Love you, man. Glad you're on the team.
Glad to be here. I'm sorry. I'm laughing. I'm watching. Sorry. Hold on. I'm watching your loser combine punishment video.
Why are you watching that?
It's like such like an emotional.
Where did that come from?
Like,
I'm dying. With
everybody
the
cheers
commentary,
great. Luke,
Leaf
I
and
appreciate you. It's like,
Braun.
hey, I didn't hear what you were talking about. I saw.
I was
you
watching
get
something
old.
embarrassing you did.
Yeah.
Like 3 years ago.
I've been watching for like 2 minutes. I haven't heard a word he said for like 2
Oh,
minutes.
my
my
God.
God.
All right. I was trying to
Anyway.
say something nice, but we're done now. We're
Wow.
done.
Hey. All right.
Call it. Thanks for
The
watching.
war room is
listening.
fracturing on draft day.
Well, that's unbelievable. That's we'll get out of here before people ask questions about what that actually is. If you don't know, don't go looking for it. And
Just Google it.
we'll talk to you tonight. Thank you.